Hello, my name is Abhay Kumar Pote, working as Assistant Professor in MBA Department from SSIT, Tumkur. Today, I am going to discuss one of the most important and practical topic in human resource management, that is performance appraisal and modern performance management system. Before moving or diving in deep into this topic, imagine yourself as an employee working in an organization and you have worked for 1 year in that organization. After 1 year, how the organization is going to decide whether you deserve salary increment or not, whether you should be promoted or not, whether you are a high performer or average performer or underperformer or not. How the organization is going to decide all these things. Why? Because the organization have to be very fair and transparent in these matters. The process should be very fair. So for that reason, the simple answer for this is performance appraisal. So what is performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is a systematic evaluation of employees' job performance by the organization over a specific period of time. And this performance appraisal usually happens once in a year, or for every 6 months, or for every 3 months. That depends on the organization to organization. Okay, what they are going to measure? They are going to measure the quality of work, the productivity, as well as the behavior and attitude of the employee towards already predefined objectives or goals which is set by the organization. To understand this performance appraisal, let me give an example. Imagine you are a sales manager and you have a target of 50 lakhs worth per quarter. And if that manager achieves more than 50 lakh, that is 60 lakh, then that achievement of that manager is considered as excellent. Whereas if the manager doesn't achieve the given target and if he achieves, imagine 30 lakh, then he is considered as underperformer or underachiever. Whereas if the manager achieves roughly around 40 to 50 lakh, then he or she is considered as what? They'll be considered as satisfactory. So this is how the organization is going to measure the performance of the employees. Now let's move on and understand the objectives of performance appraisal. The first objective is determining salary increments. See, every organization will be having employees, and employees are going to work for the organization goals as well as they'll be going to work for their individual goals. So after every 1 year, employees will be expecting the increments in their salaries. Then how the organization is going to decide? As I said, they'll be focusing on the employees' performance. They'll measure various other parameters like productivity, performance and goal achievements, target achievements, or the objectives set by the organization for the employees. All those things will be measured, and later they are going to make sure that every employee gets fair and transparent salary increments, because employees are going to discuss among themselves, because employees will be working under same job position. We cannot provide same salary increment for all the employees. So for that reason, this performance appraisal is going to help. Next objective is identifying promotional opportunities. Imagine there are employees who are going to perform really well. They'll be performing exceptionally well. They're going to achieve all the targets which is given to them, and they're going to perform according to the organization needs and wants, and they'll satisfy all the customers' needs and wants and also the clients. So at that time, how you are going to satisfy those employees? You can satisfy as an organization by promoting those employees, because they'll be highly productive and they'll be having leadership qualities and they are good at communication skills. So based on that, you are going to promote employees. What is the difference between salary increment and promotion? In salary increment, you are going to increase or give a small hike in the employee's salary. Whereas in promotion, you are going to promote employees with or without salary increment. Majority of the time, you are going to increment or boost the salary of employees in promotion, but most of the time you are going to increase the roles and responsibility of the employees. This is the major difference between salary increment and promotion. Next one is identifying training and development needs. Imagine in an organization, every employee is not going to perform well. For example, consider a classroom. In classroom, every student is not going to achieve good marks in the examination or in the test. So at that time, what the teachers are going to do? They are going to analyze the gaps that exist within those students, and based on that, they are going to give some extra classes or some extra trainings. Likewise, in the organization also, there will be employees who are going to underperform, and they are going to analyze why they are performing less, why, where is that skill gap exists. They are going to understand. Based on that, they are going to arrange training and development classes or training and development programs for the employees. Along with that, they provide mentoring and coaching facilities for the employees so that they can reduce that skill gap. Next one is improve employee motivation. All the time you cannot provide salary increments, bonus or hikes, or else you cannot promote employees. At that time, what you can do? The bare minimum thing as an organization you can do is you can motivate employees by appreciation, by giving certificates, by giving one or the other bonuses, or by recognizing the efforts put by the employees, so that they'll be motivated and they'll work even better for the organization development as well as individual development. Okay, after understanding all the objectives, last comes support career planning. Here, employees not only working for the organization goals, but they're also working for their individual goals. If the employee is continuously working for the organization goals, then when the employee is going to work for themselves, if they work towards the organization goals and employee goals are aligned together, so that both goes hand in hand and both achieves their goals and see heights in their career. Moving on to next, we have two methods of performance appraisal. One is traditional method, the other one is modern method. We'll discuss these things one by one in detail. Under traditional methods of performance appraisal, we have ranking method, we have paired comparison method, we have graphical rating scale method, and we have checklist method and a essay method. We'll understand these traditional methods of performance appraisal one by one in detail. First one is ranking method. See, in this organization, manager is going to rate employees based on their performance from 1 to last. I mean, from best to worst. If an employee is performing really well, then the manager is going to rate that employee as best employee. And if an employee is performing underperformer, then that employee will be termed as worst employer. And the drawback of this ranking method is that the manager is not going to provide any reasons for arranging the ratings of those employees. That is the drawback of this ranking method. But it is an easy one, but it cannot be applied for large organizations. Why? Because if you have limited number of employees, then you can use this ranking method. When it comes to large organizations, you cannot use this kind of method. Next one is paired comparison method. In this type of appraisal, you are going to compare one employee with the other employee. You will be given with set of questions, and against that question, two employees will be mentioned, and based on that, the statement, the manager is going to put a tick mark against that statement, which employee suits best for that particular statement. Based on that, the organization and the manager is going to decide who is performing better and who is not performing better. Next one is graphical rating scale. See, in this type of appraisal, I like to quote a simple example for this. Whenever we order any product or any, if we take any service from any particular e-commerce website and all, they'll be asking for an rating. They ask us to rate that product or rate our service and all. So likewise, in this also, employee will be rated by the manager. If he is really performing well, then he'll be given with rating 4 or rating 5. If he is not performing well, then he'll be given with rating 3 or 2. If it is not at all performing or not at all meeting the organization needs and wants, then definitely he'll be rated with 1 mark. So this is how graphical rating scale works. Next one is checklist method. In this method, there will be a set of questions will be given to the manager, of an individual employee, and against that set of statements, there will be an yes or no option will be given to the rater. What that rater is going to do, he is going to read those statements carefully, and according to that statement, the manager is going to rate whether it is an yes or no. Based on that statement, the manager is going to mark that option. This is how checklist method works. Next one is essay method. In this method of appraisal, the manager is going to write a narrative description of an employee's performance. Like it can be about an employee's strength, weakness, opportunities, and improvements that is needed to be taken for that employee. All these things will be given in a descriptive manner. This is all about traditional methods of performance appraisal. In this traditional method of performance appraisal, whole and sole decision will be done by the manager itself, and it depends on the only historical data, and it is not future oriented. That's why this is very old concept, and majority of the organizations are not following this traditional method of performance appraisal. Let's move on and understand the modern methods of performance appraisal. The first one is management by objectives. As I said, these type of performance appraisals are used by the modern organizations, where employee and employer or manager are going to sit together, and they are going to set objectives and goals for each and every individual employee. And at the end of a particular period, the employee and manager are going to check whether the employee achieved this predefined goal or objective or not. If yes, then they'll proceed and they'll award the performer. If not, they are going to provide certain improvements or measures that will be taken to improve or reduce the skill gaps of that particular employee. Next one is 360-degree feedback. See, earlier in traditional method of performance appraisal, manager used to give rating to the employee's performance, but no other person or colleagues will be involved in that particular appraisal. Whereas in case of 360-degree feedback, every person who is involved directly or indirectly with that employee, they are going to give feedback. Like it might be a supervisor, it might be a subordinate, it might be a colleague, or it might be customers. All of them are going to give feedback, and that feedback will be collected, and based on that, that employee will be given rewards. Next one is assessment center method. See, in this assessment center method, employees evaluated through simulated activities. What are those activities? It can be like group discussions, case studies, role plays, or psychometric tests. If an organization wants to promote employees into a leadership roles or in any of key roles of the organization, then they'll be conducting these kind of simulated activities where they are going to test the communication skill of that employee, they are going to test the leadership skills of that employee, they are going to test how they are going to negotiate and how they are going to act according to the situation, how they are going to make better decisions, and how they are going to handle the team. All those things will be measured by such kind of activities. This is about assessment center method. Next one is behaviorally anchored rating scale, that is commonly known as BARS. Behaviorally anchored rating scale are designed to bring the benefits of both qualitative and quantitative data to the employee appraisal process. See, in behaviorally anchored rating scale, employees will be rated based on particular behaviors. On every behavior, there will be a parameter, and based on that parameter, the employer is going to rate the employee. For example, we'll see this picture and we'll understand about BRS. See, if you rate an employee as 1, then it indicates that the employees does not talk to or make eye contact with customers when they enter the store. This is about a sales executive. If a sales executive is not talking properly with the customers, and if he is not solving the problem of customers, then it is rated as 1. See, you can see there is this performance level indicator, and to that rater there are behaviors that are attached to it, and based on these statements, the manager or the rater is going to rate the employee. Next one is the employee says hello when customers enter the store, but do not ask what they are looking for. See, these kind of behavior related questions will be stated against the employee, and based on these statements, the manager is going to rate the employee. This is all about behavioral anchored rating scale method. Okay, as I said, the major difference between traditional performance appraisal and modern performance appraisal is traditional method of performance appraisal, it follows historical data, and it completely focused on manager, where manager is going to take the ultimate decision. Whereas in modern performance appraisal, it is completely data driven and it is completely future oriented, and they are going to measure the achievements or goals set to the employee, and whether it is met or not, all those things will be taken into consideration, and based on that the employee are going to get appraisals. Next, we'll understand, there might be a small question, what if the manager make errors in giving appraisals to the employees? There are certain errors. There are nothing but halo effect, horn effect, lenience error, strictness error, central tendency. Okay, what do you mean by halo effect? Imagine if an employee is really working hard and he is doing all the work which is given to him, but if he is only good at communication, but he is not meeting all the deadlines which is given to him, he is not satisfying the needs and wants of the customers, but he is acting good or he is performing well in terms of communication itself, then based on that one parameter, the manager is going to rate that employee. So that kind of error is called as halo effect. He is only focusing on one positive trait of that employee, not focusing on the other aspects of that employee, and based on that he or she is going to rate that employee. So that is one of the error, that is nothing but halo effect. Next one is horn effect. If an employee does a small mistake, if he is not meeting deadlines, if he made a small error in his work, then that one particular trait is measured by the manager, and based on that trait the employer is going to rate that employee. One negative trait leads to bad performance appraisal, whereas the employee will be having more other positive traits, but all those things will be not taken into consideration, so the manager is going to make these kind of mistakes also. That is nothing but horn effect, only focusing on one negative trait of that employee, and based on that one negative trait the employer or manager is going to rate that particular employee. Next one is lenience error. Here the manager is going to make an error like by giving every employee with good ratings, because you don't want to face that confrontation from the employees. In order to maintain good bonding between the employees, the manager is going to rate good ratings for all the employees. This is also one of the error. Next one is strictness error, where the manager is going to rate every employee with so much of harsh. He is not going to give good ratings to all the employees even if they are performing well. So this makes very difficult for the employees to understand who is a good performer or who is a underperformer. This is also one of the error that comes under performance appraisal. Next one is central tendency error. Here the manager is going to rate each and every employee in an average. They say that every employee is working on an average in an average manner. They are going to rate neither completely as poor nor completely as excellent. They'll be rating employees with an average performer. So this is also one of the error that the employer is going to make, where rating all the employees as an average performer. That error can also be considered in this kind of performance appraisals. Now let's move on and I'll understand the modern performance management system. As I said, in traditional performance management system, employers used to conduct performance appraisals once in a year, or they may not be monitoring or checking the employees' work, or they may not be communicating properly to the employees, or they may not be giving enough freedom or autonomy for the employees to make decisions. Whereas in case of modern performance management system, organizations are continuously measuring and monitoring the performance of employees. They'll continuously measure, they'll continuously try to understand how the employees are working in the organization. they'll try to understand the needs and wants of the employees, and they'll, based on that, they are going to take decisions. Next, they are going to give regular feedbacks to the employees. Managers sit with employees and they'll discuss the pros and cons of that particular employee. If they are facing any problem in their professional life as well as in their personal life, they'll discuss and they'll sort it out, and they'll give feedback for those employees, and based on that, employees are going to improve themselves and they'll bring productivity for the organization. Next one is coaching and mentoring. For example, consider if an employee is not performing well in that organization, maybe the reason may be various, but if someone is failing to perform, if someone is having some problem in their job role, then the organization comes into picture and they are going to provide coaching and mentoring programs for those kind of employees, where coaches and mentors are going to help, and they'll teach employees how to perform under pressure and how to behave in certain situations and how to achieve the targets set by the organization to those employees. Next one is quarterly performance reviews. As I said, that traditional performance management system only reviews or manages the performance of the employees once in a year. Whereas in modern performance management system, every quarterly performance will be reviewed and the proper feedback is given to the employees. Next one is technology-driven HR systems. In earlier stages of human resource management system, everything used to happen manually. Now the world has changed, technology came into picture, even AI and machine learning, all those things came into picture, and organizations are completely utilizing these kind of technologies, and based on that they are implementing, they are deploying HR systems in their organization, and from that HR system the managers and organizations are monitoring and keeping an eye on employees, and they are rectifying the mistakes, and they are helping and guiding and motivating and also helping employees to develop themselves in their career path. This is about modern performance management system. Conclusion. At the end, to summarize this concept, we studied about performance appraisal, then methods of performance appraisal, all those things we studied. What it says, performance appraisal is all about evaluating an employee's job performance over a specific period of time. It includes and it measures the work done by the employee. It also measures the productivity, behavior, attitude of an employee. And we also studied modern performance management system, whereas we discussed how the traditional performance management system used to work and now how the modern performance management system is working and how it is benefited for the organization as well as the employees to develop and achieve both individual as well as organization goals. Basically, performance management system and performance appraisal is all about achieving both individual and as well as organizational goals and aligning both individual and organization goals. This is all about today's session. Thank you.